My wife, 30F, told me she is sick of me, 41M, taking on pro bono legal cases. I have my own law firm, and for many years I could count on one hand the amount of pro bono cases I've considered taking. However, with everything happening in 2020, I realized that when I went to law school, I went with the desire to help people. And there was more to my profession than just helping wealthy people walk away from their mistakes or just have their way in the world. So I spoke to local legal organizations and saw a few cases that I feel like really resonated with me and started making time in my schedule to take those cases. The clients for those cases are often from low-income backgrounds, with dysfunctional home lives, and find themselves in trouble because of desperate situations. I always tell my wife about what's happening at work. She is usually very supportive. However, when I brought up the pro bono work, she immediately asked if I was sure. And then was quiet after. She visits my office a lot to have lunch with me. Some of my long-time clients have become rather close to us, so she always greets them and asks how they're doing. However, she's become angry when she sees people who don't look like usual clients. The child of one of my pro bono clients once attempted to compliment her shoes, and my wife just straight up ignored her and interrupted her mid-compliment to ask me a question. Sometimes I have to push my lunch hour to later to accommodate my pro bono clients into my schedule. My wife never interrupts meetings with any of my regular clients. But she has literally barged into a conference room and asked how much longer it would be. I literally don't get why my wife is so pissed off. It's not like my pro bono work affects our bottom line. My wife, in the 4 years she's been married to me, has never had to look at the price of anything, and she can and has continued to do that. But when we're out with friends, she routinely calls my pro bono clients trash and crackheads. Yesterday we got into a big fight because I said that with all the free time she has, I think she'd be a happier person if she volunteered or just helped somebody else in some way. I even suggested she resume her job as a freelance photographer. She gets extremely mad and starts yelling that there were plenty of high-profile, career-boosting cases that she was sure would love to have me on it. She said she fell in love with me because of how ambitious I was. And now it feels like we don't have a common goal anymore. And that she's never seen me get so emotionally attached to any of my other cases, and the implications of that piss her off. After we cooled down, I asked what I needed to do to make her happy. She told me to quit my pro bono cases. I told her I obviously couldn't do that in good conscience. She then asks me not to take any more at least. What do? I like doing pro bono work because it gives me a sense of purpose I never knew I needed. But I don't know if it is worth losing my wife over this. Being honest, your wife is a jerk. Your ambition is still there, it's just not the ambition she was looking for when she married you. The best way to deal with this is to try and separate your work from home if that's possible. Until your wife can come to terms with your passion as a lawyer, then she needs to be kept separate from it. Just to be clear, I'm not accusing your wife of being a gold digger. I'm accusing her of being elitist, at best. Her attitude towards your clients are classic look-down-on tactics that people like her use. You found something you love, and you should follow through with it. Edit. I did not expect this comment to blow up like this. Thank you very much for the awards. Look man, honestly I respect you greatly for doing pro bono cases. You're doing an amazing act of kindness to people that actually need it, all while maintaining your firm. This isn't an easy thing to accomplish by any means. Your wife must understand that this is your career, not hers, and while I might try to understand some of her reasons for concern at first, I couldn't later on, especially since this doesn't affect your income or lifestyle at all, nor it ever will. You're doing a good thing, and if she can't see that, then maybe she's not right for you. So your wife doesn't work at all? What does she think your common goal was before the pro bono work? You working on high-profile cases and her telling her friends about how you only work with rich people. Your wife is definitely elitist, and it really sounds like the only things she cares about are money and stature. So you have a prenup, right? I mean, how cool are you with the fact that your wife hates poor people? Can you continue a marriage with somebody who you know doesn't treat people equally? So, your wife is the only trash person, not your pro bono clients. I take it your wife doesn't work? And based on what you said, doesn't contribute to society by volunteering or anything. So how is she better exactly than the trash she says you are representing? Your wife is a snob. She likes being married to a lawyer but doesn't realize that, some lawyers when they're fully established and set, take on pro bono work to give back to the community. She doesn't like you mixing with the hoi polloi. This is the point where you have to make a decision. Keep doing the pro bono stuff or get a new wife. Edit. Just as a curiosity, what does your wife do for a living? Ambition to better the world is the greatest ambition of all. Sounds like your wife has very little to no empathy, is definitely an elitist and lacks kindness as well. I would be so proud of my partner helping others in need. I would literally scream it from the hilltops, and would support him in any way possible. What you're doing is commendable, it's kind and it's selfless. So the fact that your wife doesn't want you doing it, well, it's got to say a lot about her and her values. Your wife isn't worth keeping, mate. I'm really sorry you're married to someone like this. I sincerely hope this is fake. It sounds like your wife is either very greedy or a social Darwinist, either way she sounds like a terrible human being. Edit. This is absolutely something worth losing your wife over. Anything would be worth losing her over. You can do a lot better. And #X200B. Someone who believes that being poor and desperate are signs of inferiority. That such people deserve to be ruled and exploited by their betters, not helped. Did you not notice when you married Satan? What a rotten core. How did she manage to hide her hatred of poor people from you for so long? I now am curious what would happen if you got into health problems, heaven forbid of course, and you could no longer work as an attorney at all. You could no longer afford this lifestyle, you would depend on your wife. How would she react? What does your gut tell you? Your wife is not a good person. She'd leave you in a heartbeat if you decided to give up your firm and work for a nonprofit. Your reputation is at stake if she continues to barge in on meetings with clients. Do you really want to be known as that attorney with the crazy wife? How long have you been married? Is this your first marriage? Your wife has clearly shown you what kind of person she is. She married you for money and clout. She doesn't care if your bottom line isn't affected, she still wants more. As far as she's concerned, every second you spend with a pro bono client is time you could be using to schmooze rich, high-profile clientele and climb up the social ladder. Your wife is classist, elitist, gold-digging trash. She sounds like a gold digger, classist, and possibly racist. Not a good combo. So, your wife is a bitch. Like an extreme bitch. Why is she being so high and mighty? She doesn't bring in any money. She is actually worse off than your pro bono clients. I'd say that you should ask her not to come by the office anymore as she's embarrassing. Ouch. I'm so sorry. It sounds like you're in a tough position. On one hand, congratulations for taking your career to the next level of self-actualization and actually doing something that fulfills you. I hope you keep pursuing your projects because they serve the public, and not just you. On the other hand, I'm sorry you're stuck with a wife who only cares about financial ambition. It doesn't sound like you guys' ambitions in the long run match up. Question is, are you willing to give up your ideas of what it is to follow her version? Best of luck to you, Op, but personally, hope you don't stop your PB work for the underprivileged. Op, I just want to say this one thing. I really hope you're not allowing her to barge in on your meetings with your pro bono clients regularly. And did you say anything to her when she ignored and cut off the client who was trying to compliment her? That's unprofessional and disrespectful to your clients, who should not be made to feel like they are getting bargain basement treatment because they're poor. It's also disrespectful to the spirit doing of pro bono work. A lawyer is literally an advocate. Please advocate for your clients and their dignity whenever you see them mistreated, instead of limiting your advocacy to the confines of the courtroom. I'm not saying you're not, it's just a reminder because you didn't say whether or not you just allowed your wife to behave this way. I ain't saying she a gold digger. I too am a lawyer and I started my career in a typical private role. I very quickly moved into a more purposeful role, been in it 15 years and would never go back. Be true to yourself. Explain to your wife how important purpose is. Point out that pro bono cases are usually more interesting, important, and the best counsel take a mix. It could be that one pro bono case that hits the papers, makes you famous. It seems to me you're not appealing to what she values. Reframe your message to make it palatable. You should be able to work out how to. Maybe at the same time you need to consider how compatible you guys are. Don't rush this decision. Good luck. Exactly what sterling qualities does this broad possess? All I see is a selfish gold-digging jerk. Sorry, but fuck your wife. I've been in a situation where I needed a pro bono lawyer and couldn't find one, so that's awesome that you're doing that. Divorce her, she's with you for your money. If you think I am being mean, that's fine. I am calling the divorce, only a matter of time. Good luck and Godspeed. I don't believe this is real. You laid it on a little bit too thick with the, became a lawyer to help people, bit. Wow, this is awful, sorry you're having to deal with this. I think you sound great. A common goal. Wow. She's an entitled something. She needs to get a grip. And a job, to give her a sense of purpose in life. Separate your work life from your home life. Obviously your partner should be kept in the loop as to what's going on and any future decisions you may make. However, ultimately, aside from advice and giving you their opinion, the final decision is yours. I think you're doing a good thing taking on those pro bono cases. Maybe your wife needs to see life from a different perspective and to see how less privileged people go through life. Your wife is quite the snob. I'd be so pleased and proud to have a partner that is willing to give back to the community. Sorry, I don't have any advice though, only you know if personal fulfillment is worth more than a rotten wife. As someone who manages a nonprofit program that relies on pro bono attorneys, thank you. Sorry your wife is such a closed-minded jerk. Just curious, what qualities did she possess that made you fall in love with her? When you were dating, did she ever offer to pick up a tab? She's nasty and selfish. Your wife can't come to the office anymore. She's being rude and representing you poorly in your place of business. You should keep doing pro bono cases. If that's a deal breaker for your wife, then let her walk. You said you have a prenup, so let the chips fall where they may. First of all, I would just like to say that I admire you dearly. Especially as an aspiring lawyer myself. You have finally found something you're passionate about, and that is helping people. That in itself is the greatest attribute a person can have. Your wife is unfortunately not able to understand this aspect. I believe that this is an alarming situation that should help you navigate the type of person you want to spend the rest of your life with. This is not an agree to disagree type of situation, this is about the happiness of you. Shouldn't that be one of her end goals when she decided to marry you? As a 3L going into public interest, I am thankful I will never have this problem. Tears of joy. But in all seriousness, I think what you are doing is great. There is a massive universe of need when it comes to pro bono work. I think your sense of purpose is worth your wife putting aside some of her judgment. Good luck. Worth losing your wife? Definitely. I think you might want to lose her and find someone who is a genuinely good person. I think she's showing her true colors, and I don't think she deserves you. I don't know if you're under any financial pressure, but assume you're not. I don't see the problem. My husband is an extremely talented software dev. He could easily work for FAANG and make a top tech salary, up to $500,000 a year. FAANG-style interviews are his bread and butter. But he'd rather work for non-profits or a for-profit company whose values align with him, and as long as we aren't struggling, that's a rather good thing. She didn't marry you. She married a rich lawyer. Sorry to break it to you. You married a gold digger. You're trying hard to avoid admitting that. She fell in love with you for your ambition. Yeah, she wants a yacht and you are the vehicle she will ride to get there. Drop this dead weight ASAP, she is a monster. Surely there were red flags prior to this. No one is this selfish, classist, and unempathetic out of nowhere. If you ignored them, please stop and don't ignore red flags like this in the future when you search for wife number 3. She's a gold digger lol. She wants you to bring in more money and is angry that you aren't. Sounds like another good use of her time would be to see a therapist a few times a week so she can work that shit out. Your true colors are shown by how you treat those who cannot do anything for you. Meditate on that for a bit. Your wife sees you as a resource-making object and not a person. If you are not bringing in $, she literally believes you are wasting your time. The fact that she doesn't have to worry about $, means she is an entitled princess. This unfortunately more common with men who have a higher income. I recommend athelk.com for coaching on how to deal with this, as he helped me out a lot. My man. I get that she's probably very physically attractive, but she's clearly a terrible person if she treats people poorer than her with such contempt, especially considering that she doesn't even work herself. My advice: let her make someone else's life miserable. You should be lauded by your significant other for wanting to assist people in need, not ridiculed. I know that the prospect of dating in your 40s is daunting, but personally, I know that nothing would be worth putting up with the level of elitist assholery that you have just described. Your wife is a classless gold digger with no discernible talent or worth. She sneers at poor people. WTF does she contribute to society? Absolutely nothing. If you stay with her, you're trash too. What an absolute bitch. I think it's time to divorce elitist wife. Take care of her legal work pro bono because she is trash.